The Vice President does not have any split personality. You are impeaching the Vice President for her conduct.
Yung pong acts niya, Vice President, happened during her tenure of office while she was DepEd Secretary. Pasok ho yun as impeachable acts.
Madam Chair, point of order muna.
There's a point of order.
Impeachment complaint.
Nagsasalita
Kindly
pa ako.
wait
Di ba?
until-
Point of order.
There's another point of order. Let's hear the Honorable Dilima.
Article 2 fails the insufficiency in substance.
Now we proceed to Article 2 of the fourth impeachment complaint. Please allow the chair to read. Betrayal of public trust and graft and corruption. Among the offenses cited are misuse and malversation of confidential funds, violation of Joint Memorandum Circular number 2015-01, COA findings, and falsification of documents. Now we elicit the comment and manifestation of the Justice members.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Rodriguez.
Bong Sonta is not here, so I just go ahead because he would have been first always. Madam Chair, on Article 2, it is betrayal of public trust and graft and corruption. I would just like to take exception in accordance with what I stated yesterday. Page 34 includes the DepEd. And as I have stated, and I remind again, members of the Committee on Justice, that we have no jurisdiction over actuations of the former Secretary of the Department of Education. So, page 934, we say that the statement of corruption by grossly abusing discretionary authority over confidential funds appropriated to the OVP, that's fine. But the statement that DepEd is totally out of the jurisdiction of this committee, the actuations of the former secretary. Then on page, Madam Chair, on page 36, once again, 1223.3 paragraph, 125 million in DepEd confidential funds in the late 2022-2023. Again, DepEd, we cannot have jurisdiction over DepEd. The case of Duterte versus House of Representatives clearly state that the impeachable offenses must relate to the acts of the position and the office where the person is sought to be impeached. And we're not going to impeach the secretary of a department here, but there is an allegation against her as the vice president. So that is page 36. And then on page 38, we have here 129 paragraph. It says a random sampling of receipts and acknowledgement receipts submitted by the OBP and DepEd revealed numerous defects. So once again, the statement of DepEd, the statement about DepEd is that it is beyond our jurisdiction. And then also 132, several receipts, OVP and DepEd should not be included. Now, on page 39, there is this allegation of physical distribution and third-party deliveries, use of DepEd vehicles and personnel. Again, this is about DepEd. It could not be part of our the investigation on the allegations of the impeachment. And so, Madam Chair, those are my observation on Article 2. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair.
Meanwhile, the chair wishes to remind the Justice members, while we value the significance of all your arguments, we resolve already to adopt the discussion we had yesterday in the determination of sufficiency in substance of the third impeachment complaint for the purpose of our deliberation on the sufficiency in substance of the fourth impeachment complaint. We therefore encourage the members to raise new matters. Members who wish to manifest, the Honorable Chua and then
Madam Chair.
Honorable Tino.
Madam Chair,
Honorable Joboy Aquino, and Honorable Chel
Madam
Jokno,
Chair.
and Honorable Abante,
Madam Chair.
and Honorable Nazal. Honorable Chua first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, as already manifested yesterday, I stand with my position that the Vice President, we should not distinguish between her position as Secretary of DepEd and Vice President by, again, citing the constitutional provision that under the Constitution, the Vice President may be appointed as member of the Cabinet, and such appointment requires no confirmation. So, meaning to say that the appointment of the Vice President as Secretary of DepEd is concurrent position. Hindi po siya ma-appoint doon if she were not the Vice President. And secondly, siya nga lang po ang nag-iisang Vice President, siya nga lang po ang nag-iisang Cabinet Secretary na hindi na kailangan ng confirmation precisely dahil siya po ay Vice President. And thirdly, in addition to those statements and for the information of the body, the Vice President as Secretary of the DepEd is not receiving any allowance or emolument as Secretary of DepEd. Therefore, and it is very obvious na kaya po siya nandoon, again, because of her position as Vice President. Having said that, Madam Chair, I would like also to point out that from the perusal of the second argument, sabi po dito, ito pong second ground anchored on the allegation that the Vice President has committed betrayal of public trust and graft and corruption. Now, paano po pumasok ito? Kung babasahin po natin doon sa paragraph 1, 2, 3, sabi po dito, on 20 December 2022, Land Bank check number 2244027 in the amount of 125 million was issued to the OBP and in cash at the Land Bank Shaw Boulevard by SDO Gina Acosta. So dito po sa paragraph na to, makikita natin, wala pa pong participation ng ating Vice President. Now, ito pong paragraph 1, 2, 3, this should be read in relation to paragraph 134. Dito po sa Madriaga Affidavit, chain of custody. Dahil ito pong winidraw dito sa paragraph 123 na 125 million na in-encash na sinasabi na nilagay po sa mga multiple bags na nakalagay sa paragraph 125 na binigay po kay Dante La Chica ay binigay po kay Madriaga. At dito naman po si Madriaga, sinasabi po niya na ito daw duffel bag, 4 na duffel bag na kinuha niya ng cash sa Ultra Pasig City noong December 20, 2022. Take note of the date, Madam Chair. Ibig sabihin, ito rin yung araw kung kailan in-encash yung 125 million. Siya daw ay nag-deliver netong 4 na duffel bag sa various recipient including a mayor in Laguna, an office in Timog, and a vehicle left at the Ombudsman parking compound for retrieval. At this point, wala pa rin pong participation ang ating Vice President. Now, paano po napunta dito? Paano po ito naging impeachable offense? Makikita po natin yan sa paragraph 150. Kasi dito po sa paragraph 150, nakalagay po dito, the OBP SDO's testimony that they were instructed to turn over cash to intermediaries, which is Nolasco to Madriaga, at the direction of respondent Sara Duterte supports direct liability. So dito po pumapasok yung participation ng respondent. Kaya po, dito po pumapasok yung grounds which is grave, which is betrayal of public trust and graft and corruption. So with that, pagbabasahin lamang po natin yung facts, makikita po natin na may sufficient in substance. That's all, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Chel Jokno.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. While I continue to respect Congressman Rufus Rodriguez despite his comments about law deans, I have to disagree with his argument. First of all, because if we carry that argument to its logical conclusion, it would mean, for example, that if a vice president were to attend a function as Secretary of Education, where the president was also present, and then, let's say, hypothetically, were to brandish a firearm or even discharge it at the president, then does that mean that she cannot be impeached? Second, if we carry that argument, then that would mean that the vice president could easily hide behind that distinction and commit plunder, commit other high crimes as Secretary of Education, and there would be no accountability. So I really must disagree. It's impossible to distinguish those two positions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
For the guidance of the members, the exchange of argument is with respect to the jurisdiction of the Justice Committee with regards to the offenses committed as Secretary of Department of Education as to whether or not they can still be considered as within the jurisdiction of the Justice proceedings, Justice Committee proceedings with respect to impeachment offenses. Next is the Honorable Benny Abante.
On the issue of, just like what my good friend Congressman Rufus said, the VP Sara, as Deputy Secretary, is not an impeachable officer, and therefore the House Committee on Justice has no jurisdiction over her. No. Now, to me, that would be a clever technical argument. Kaya ako ngayon nag-aaral na ng law. Kaya hindi ako abogado dahil si Congressman Rufus, magaling talaga ito. Kaya can you imagine, napupuyat ako sa pag-aaral. But anyway, Madam Chair, yung ito pong clever technical argument na ito, it intentionally confuses the position held with the person holding it. In the Philippine context, the House Committee on Justice jurisdiction is not determined by the status of the person being charged, not the specific desk they were sitting at when the act occurred. For example, nakita ko rin po yung tinatawag nating single personality doctrine. Ito po ang punto rito. You are not impeaching a secretary. You are impeaching the Vice President for her conduct while in public service. The Vice President does not have any split personality. Sino bang ating tinutukoy dito? Si Mr. Jekyll ba o si Dr. Hyde? Di ba? Not a split personality. She is a single impeachable officer. Whether she is performing her duties as the OVP or at DepEd, she remains the Vice President of the Philippines, Madam Chair. You cannot strip away her impeachable status just because she stepped into a cabinet meeting. If she commits graft as DepEd Secretary, tulad po na nabanggit ni Congressman Chel Jokno, she has committed graft as the Vice President, and that makes her unfit for office. Ito po ang punto. The Constitution identifies betrayal of public trust as a ground for impeachment. It does not say betrayal of public trust only in the performance of the office of the Vice President duties. If she used her position as a high-ranking official to mismanage debt funds or take bribes, she has betrayed the trust the people place in her as what? As the second highest official of the land. The House has jurisdiction because the person is an impeachable officer. Yun lang po, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Abante. Next is the Honorable Flores.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, gusto ko lang sanang maibalik yung usapin no, about what the Justice Committee is about to be doing right now. I think the questions on whether she was doing it as Secretary ba or as Vice President should be totally left to the discretion of the Vice President whether or not she wants to use that defense. Dapat pagbigyan na po natin yung Vice President to choose kung gagamitin niya ba to as an issue in her defense or whether to ignore it. Wala po sa atin yan. Ang importante po is ibalik natin ang usapin sa ano ba ang trabaho ng Justice Committee. And our work only, Madam Chair, is to determine whether or not may sufficiency in substance po ba ang allegations that are stated in the impeachment complaint. So whether or not we have jurisdiction, as far as her position is concerned, whether as Deputy Secretary or as Vice President, I believe it is siguro our responsibility also to leave it to the Vice President whether to adopt this kind of defense or not, or even not to answer it at all, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam
The
Chair.
Honorable Ridon.
Well, sa totoo lang ho, kahit hindi na ho natin pag-usapan yung split personality between Vice President and Deputy Secretary, siguro maganda pag-usapan na lang ho natin yung usapin po ng tenure. Kasi impeachable officials are impeachable within their tenure of office. No? So the Vice President has a tenure of office from June 30, 2022 to June 30, 2028. So ang tanong po, yung po bang mga impeachable acts, impeachable offenses, kailan po ito nangyari? Nangyari po ba ito within this particular tenure of office ng isang impeachable officer? Kung ang sagot po dyan ay oo, and quite certainly, yung pong acts niya, Vice President, happened during her tenure of office while she was Deputy Secretary, pasok po yun as impeachable acts and impeachable offenses while she is Vice President. Yun lang po, Madam Chair.
And of course, we recognize the Honorable Defensor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Para matapos na din itong usapin tungkol sa depensa na magkahiwalay ang personality nila, we simply have to go back to the enumeration under the Constitution na ang impeachable officers ay the President, the Vice President, the members of the Supreme Court, the members of the Constitutional Commissions, and the Ombudsman without qualification, without exception, na nagsasabing unless otherwise they are appointed as DepEd Secretary or DNR Secretary. So that would be clear, and it's the Constitution itself that has laid down that enumeration to establish the jurisdiction of the committee. Maraming salamat, Chair.
Thank you. That concludes our
Madam Chair.
deliberation on the
Madam
second
Chair.
round.
Hindi pa ako natawag.
The Honorable Suntay.
On the alleged misuse of confidential funds, ginagamit ito ng complainant para ipakita na may misuse o malversation ng confidential funds. Pero mahalagang tandaan na ang paggamit ng confidential funds ay governed ng COA DBM Joint Circular 2015-01. Sa circular na ito, kinikilala na ang confidential funds ay ginagamit para saan? Surveillance activities, intelligence gathering, informant payments. Dahil dito, cash transactions talaga lahat yan. So hindi porket may mga cash transactions o may movement ng funds, ibig sabihin, meron ng malversation o merong corruption na nangyayari.
Hindi rin pwedeng sabihin bakit nagastos yung pera in 11 days as alleged. Dahil ang spending, yung bilis ng paggastos, hindi naman automatic, ibig sabihin illegal na. Confidential operations often require immediate payments to sources like informants. Ang mas mahalagang problema sa complaint ay hindi nito pinapakita kung saan napunta ang pera. May personal benefit ba na pumunta o nakuha ang Vice Presidente? Wala sa complaint allegations na tumanggap siya ng bahagi ng pera. Walang nakasaad na may asset bang nabili using that funds. May bank transfer ba papunta sa kanya? Ang reliance ng complaint, kung babasahin natin, mula sa mga COA audit findings. Audit Observation Memorandum, Notice of Suspension, Notice of Disallowance. Pero sa ilalim ng COA Audit Rules, ano ba yung Audit Observation Memorandum? Preliminary observation lang ito. Ano yung Notice of Suspension? Pagkulang ang dokumento. Ano yung Notice of Disallowance? Administrative finding. Pero ito,
Madam
subject to
Chair,
appeal.
Madam Chair, point of order muna.
There's a point of order. Honorable Suntay, let's hear the point of order of the Honorable Abante.
Yung ba pinag-uusapan natin? Ano ko yung ba pinag-uusapan natin?
This is about confidential fund.
Oo.
Yes, this is about confidential
Ang
funds.
pinag-uusapan natin kanina,
Madam Chair,
Kung
this is
tendre
regarding
lang,
confidential
Let's,
funds.
Nagpapaliwanag
let's allow
pa
the
ako eh.
Honorable Abante to finish the point of order.
ang pinag-uusapan natin kanina, kung yung office ng Secretary of Education, saka yung Vice President's office, impeachable offense ba yun?
Madam Chair,
Yung pinag-uusapan yun. Dali lang, nagsasalita pa
Kindly
ako.
wait
eh.
until he
Ano, ano?
finishes.
No. Binapaliwanag mo kung paano ginamit ang confidential fund. Hindi pa nga pinag-uusapan yan eh. Pangalawa, paliwanag. Dapat yan pinag-uusapan yan sa impeachment court. Hindi dito. Madam Chair, yun lang.
For the guidance of the Honorable Abante, there are allegations as to misuse of confidential fund in the office of the Department of Education with the Vice President as Secretary of Education. So, it is my humble submission that the manifestation of the Honorable Suntay is aligned to the deliberation on the second ground of the fourth impeachment complaint. The point of order is overruled.
Thank you very much, Madam
The Honorable
Chair.
Suntay may proceed.
And to my good friend, Congressman Abante, if I may continue.
You may. Thank you.
Hindi ito automatic proof ng graph of malversation. Ito ay consistent sa sinabi ng Supreme Court sa Navales versus People at Guillen versus People. GR numbers 219-598 at 220-108. Kung saan sinabi ng Korte na procedural irregularities on procurement violations do not automatically result in criminal liability or graft. Makikita rin, kagaya ng sinabi ng aking paboritong colleague, Congressman Joel Chua kanina, may nabanggit siya tungkol sa kay Madriaga, affidavit ni Madriaga. May tanong ko lang, nasaan ba si Madriaga? Di ba, nakakulong yata? So we are relying on an affidavit issued by an individual who is currently in prison. Now, sino ba si Madriaga? Meron ba siyang appointment kay BP Sara to prove that he is an employee or an authorized person? Para ma-direct naman natin yung linkage nung dalawa. Kasi if we rely heavily dun sa affidavit niya, it should not come
Madam
from
Chair,
a polluted force.
point of
Madam
order.
Chair.
There's another point of order. Let's hear the Honorable Dilima.
Are we talking now here about the credibility of a prospective witness in these proceedings? We're not yet at the evidentiary stage. We're not yet supposed to judge whether or not Mr. Madiarga is credible. So it is premature and it tries to divert the matter now. We are just talking here about the confidential funds and also about the concurrent capacity of the Commission of Offenses of the Vice President in her concurrent capacity as Secretary of Education.
Madam
So let's
Chair.
not talk yet about whether or not worthy, whether or not credible, whether or not totoo yung sinasabi ni Madriaga. We have yet to hear from him, aside from this sworn testimony, or sworn affidavit. So, that's out of order, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Santay.
it is necessary to raise this because his affidavit is attached to the complaint and it is relied on heavily. Yun lang ang point ko.
Nevertheless, the Honorable Santay, please be reminded that we are only at the stage of the sufficiency in substance. We are not discussing yet the weight of the evidence attached.
Yes, I know, Madam Chair. I
The
just
point
want to
of
make that
order is
point.
sustained.
Madam Chair,
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, just a quick rebuttal.
The Honorable Chua.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I agree with the...
The Honorable Chua is reminded to refrain from further commenting to the manifestation which has been the subject matter of the point of order of the Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this is just a recital of facts. By the reading of the affidavit itself, titignan po natin kung meron nga po talagang offense charge. At maliwanag naman po dito, meron pong perang nilabas, as cited in paragraph 123 of the complaint. And ito pong 125 million na binabanggit dito, sinabi rin po sa paragraph 125 ay pinasa sa kay certain Dante La Chica. At dito rin po sa dito rin po sa complaint na to, maliwanag sa paragraph 134 na sinasabi po ni Madriaga na siya po yung kumuha nitong pera at diniliver niya. So meron pong money trail na hinahanap po tayo. Now, bakit po nakunik ang Vice President? Kasi po, sinasabi rin po dito sa paragraph 150, sinasabi po dito na yung pong pagpapasa ng pera from the SDO to another na wala naman pong koneksyon ay upon the instruction of the Vice President. Now, dito rin po sa ating affidavit, nakalagay rin po dito at dinefine din po dito kung ano po ang definition o element ng graft and corruption. Nakalagay po yan sa paragraph 146. RA number 3019, paragraph 3A, penalizes public officers who persuade, induce, or influence another public officer to perform an act constituting a violation of rules and regulation. Definitely, yung pagpupunta po ng pera from one person other than the SDO is a violation of rules and regulation. Thank you po.
Madam Chair, a quick
Thank you.
reply.
Before I call the Honorable Santay, let me finish first with the list. The Honorable Nasal and then the Honorable Acosta.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Article 2 likewise fails to meet the constitutional threshold of sufficiency in substance. The issues raised, particularly those concerning confidential funds, under Joint Circular number 2015-01, audit observation memoranda and notices of disallowance were substantially discussed during prior deliberations. Nung in-apply ng committee yung standards na ito during the PBBM proceedings, sinabi nun na ang preliminary audit findings are not final adjudications of liability. Audit observation memoranda and notices of disallowance remain appealable and subject to administrative and judicial review. Kaya standing alone, kitang-kita na these do not establish graft malversation or betrayal of public trust. Rapid liquidation by itself is not per se unlawful. Cash handling is intrinsic to the nature of confidential and intelligence funds. What must be pleaded are ultimate facts of unlawful conversion, personal appropriation, manifest bad faith, or a specific amount personally received by the respondent. Pag binasa yung complaint, wala naman naka-allege dito na essential elements. Puro inferences lang ang meron. Inference is not an ultimate fact. For these reasons, Article 2 likewise fails the insufficiency in substance threshold. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Next is the Honorable Acosta.
Madam Chair, while I agree to the Congressman Nazal and Congressman Bong Suntay that COA findings are not criminal judgment, but are highly relevant in this discussion on whether or not pleaded facts in this fourth complaint shows an accountability breach. Our test here today for the members is whether the complaint, the fourth complaint, pleads objective audit red flags, which is the ultimate facts recited, supporting betrayal of public trust and that of graft and corruption, Madam Chair. My second question, Madam Chair, is for the two gentlemen who, Pastor Abante and Congressman Ortega. In their pleading, Madam Chair, in the pleading, Madam Chair, one of the evidentiary value is JC number 2015-01, and in relation to that, notice of disallowance addressed to the VP, dated August 8, 2024. My question, Madam Chair, is whether or not Annex G2 or that notice of disallowance August 8, 2024 have already attained finality.
Would you like to comment, Honorable Abante?
What is
He's
again the
asking about the status of the notice of disallowance. I believe this is the 73 million of the Department of Education.
I think, Madam Chair, that the COA would have more of the right to answer that than us, no, because they're the ones that actually gave, the
Honorable
disallowances.
Acosta,
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all.
are you done?
Madam Chair, would be able to just answer the manifestation of Congressman Nazal?
Before I call you Honorable Abante, allow the chair to call first the Honorable Suntay.
Thank you. Just a quick reply to the statement made by our good friend, Rep. Joel Chua. Yung nabanggit niyang pera that went to La Chica and passed hands, that shows movement of funds. It is not a proof of illegality of use or personal appropriations of the said funds. In fact, the VP is a high-ranking official, and she relies heavily, and as well as other officials, on her subordinates, accountants, unless it can be shown and can be proved that she personally fabricated the receipts, she received the money, or she had gain from those funds, then I believe that the allegation is not substantial. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Before I bring back to you the floor, Honorable Abante, since you are the endorser, let me finish first the other Kongs. The Honorable Ridon is recognized.
I think most of the matter has already been discussed yesterday. We are basically just reprosecuting the points that had already been raised yesterday. Even the defenses of Vice President had already been stated yesterday, which is why the endorsers and the other congressmen are also reprosecuting the points, no? But I think, Madam Chair, even if we remove the Madriaga affidavit, the basis of the notice of disallowance, which remains pending before the Commission and Bank, can actually stand on its own as proof of the accountability of the Vice President in the misuse of confidential funds, no? So, wag na ho natin pag-usapan muna yung laman po ng paano ho yung from La Chica to Madriaga. Kahit tanggalin po natin yon, Madam Chair, titindig po yung usapin po ng malversation. Kahapon, sinagot na rin naman ho natin, hindi ho requirement sa malversation, sa different types of malversation, yung pong personal benefit. Totoo, meron po nga malversation that requires personal benefit. Pero in technical malversation, hindi ho depensa. Yung meron ho kayong personal benefit. The fact na meron hong maling paggamit doon po sa itinakda ng paggamit po ng pondo, technical malversation na po yun. May kaso na pong kriminal yun. At ano ho ba yung pinag-uusapan natin sa misuse of confidential funds? Ang pinag-uusapan ho natin sa misuse of confidential funds, Tama ba na ginagamit po for what? For team building activities, yung pong confidential funds eh. Hindi ba? And finally, as an additional and new point, Madam Chair, one of the defenses relating to Madriaga, which is being, I think, stated today by the Office of the Vice President, is that Mr. Madriaga was never an employee of the Office of the Vice President. But I think the point needs to be made that in different parts of the bureaucracy, for example, yung mga contracts of service, yung po mga job orders, hindi naman ho yan technically empleyado ng mga opisina. Hindi ho ba? So I don't think that stands as the defense that Mr. Madriaga is actually not an employee of any of the offices of the Office of the Vice President or when she was Secretary of the Department of Education. And finally, as a final point, yung po mga confidential agents, which is basically, I think, who Madriaga is. Yung mga confidential agents po ba are treated actually as employees of offices that actually implement confidential funds? I don't think so. So, this particular new development, which the Vice President is actually submitting as a defense on Madriaga, would not hold water, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ridon. Before we proceed, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Ana York P. Bondoc from the 4th District of Pampanga. We acknowledge as well the presence of the Honorable Sarah Jane I. Ilago from Gabriela Party List. And finally, we acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Congresswoman Rene Ann Lourdes Matibag from the 1st District of Laguna. Thank you for coming.
Chair.
To conclude our deliberation on the second round, I wish to express the significance of all your arguments, but let me manifest my observation as well that despite our resolve to adopt already our deliberation in the sufficiency and substance of the third impeachment complaint with respect to similar grounds, it appears that we are raising the same arguments and manifestations.
Madam
So,
Chair.
I understand that we value all your manifestations, but please allow the chair to continue on encouraging you to raise new arguments instead. The Honorable Defensor.
Madam Chair, may I just remind the members of the committee that it is the intention of the framers of our Constitution that once an impeachment complaint has been initiated, the proceedings must be expedited. Madaliin, hindi para sagasaan, for two reasons. First, na kung wala naman palang kasalanan ang isang respondent, dapat mabilis natin ma-dismiss o mabilis siyang ma-acquit sa trial. At kung meron man sa pre-trial pa lang o katulad nitong nasa committee pa lang, mabilisan din at huwag paulit-ulitin kasi kung masama at may kasalanan, dapat pumunta agad sa trial. I hope that we will not be redundant in our discussions for the succeeding grounds and that we will limit our manifestation simply to the recital of facts to determine whether there is sufficiency in substance. Thank you.
The Honorable Asidre.
Madam Chair, just to refresh the memory of the members who were probably not part of the investigations that were conducted last year, I do remember doing the interpellation of the disbursement officer, asking her who gave the instruction to transfer the said amounts to Colonel La Chica. And plainly and under oath, she manifested that it was the Vice President who gave that instruction. So clearly, Madam Chair, that being part of the attachments to the impeachment complaint, that provides a clear connection between the Vice President's instruction and the actions that were taken by the assigned officers.
Thank you. Next is the Honorable Gonzales.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with the manifestation of our Senior Deputy Majority Leader. Kasi kung paulit-ulit po, yung oras o at panahon ay nasasayang, mas mayroon pa po tayong mas maraming pwedeng itakel na equally important matter po.
And we have 5 grounds remaining.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. That's all.
To conclude our deliberation on the second ground, ibabalik po natin ang floor sa ating mga endorsers. Now we recognize the Honorable Benny Abante.
Madam Chair, just being able to answer the manifestation of Congressman Nasal, binanggit po niya kasi yung rapid encashment no, na hindi impeachable offense. No? Rapid encashment of 125 million in just 11 days in December 2022. Kaya nga po meron tinatawag tayong systematic irregularity because of this rapid encashment. No? The complaint includes evidence of fabricated or defective receipts and unverifiable pays used to liquidate confidential funds in both the OVP and the DepEd. That's the reason why naniniwala po kami dito sa impeachment complaint na ito. Salamat po.